Hello, everyone, and welcome to the BINACT podcast where we talk music, the people that make it, and the communities that listen to it. We're back on schedule. We're missing a co-host, but that's okay. Um, I am your host, Candace of BINACT, which is an acronym for But I'm Not a Critic, though. This is a podcast for the brand that was a blog turned event hub turned podcast and music community. And I am usually joined by my two hosts, AD and OG. We're missing OG. So tonight it's just myself, Candace, and AD. AD, say what's up to the people and let me know how you're doing tonight.
Hello, people. How you doing?
How was your Super Bowl Sunday? Did you do anything fun? Or did you just watch the game?
Oh yeah, we went to the missus' cousin had us over, so it was his annual Super Bowl party.
Nice.
So we did it over there. Had to be technical guru for a second because the game was in Spanish.
Oh no.
Yeah, somehow the SAP button got turned on, but
Not
nobody
the
turned it.
Spanish game.
Yeah, but nobody turned. But the thing was, everything throughout was English, and then all of a sudden just randomly went to Spanish, and I was like, "What?" So had to fix that, but everything got done.
Yeah, for context, we're recording this 2 days after the Super Bowl, and I didn't do we didn't do anything special. I just signed up for Tubi so I could watch it live because again, I do not have cable. And so I needed to figure out how to get the game. Well, really get the Super Bowl performance. I did not care about the game. As a Steeler fan, I personally have nothing against the Eagles. But I was obviously rooting for them to win, and so I'm glad they did. But I wasn't going out of my way to do anything super duper special for the Super Bowl. So we stayed home. I felt myself about to sneeze, but then it went away. So I was gonna mute before I felt like I was about to sneeze. And I did not want to sneeze into the mic. Sorry. But yeah, we didn't do anything particularly special for it. But I'm not going to prolong this because it's just, obviously the Super Bowl performance was the topic of discussion. And it's been the topic of discussion for the last couple of days. And it will probably continue to be the topic of discussion. So AD, I'm gonna kick this off. I'm gonna let you go first. What did you think about the performance? How did it make you feel? And then talk about some of the word discourse is annoying and overused, but like some of the discourse that you've seen, heard, maybe even had with people in your life or coworkers or anything about the performance. Go first, and then I'll jump in and I'll take it away because it has been a very interesting 2 days already. We've only had the performance for 2 days.
I am going to say that performance because I saw with an older crowd, so I was interested to see how they would react. But they were loving everything about it. I was hyped, so I was all into it. But seeing them, like, that said something to me. That Kendrick, the role that Kendrick is on right now, and that performance, it crossed so many lines, especially from young to old, different races, and they'll go to later on of how it was actually viewed. But as of right now, one day, right, or a little over 24 hours, Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance has amassed over 32 million views.
That's crazy.
That's more than Usher's performance. And that was Usher. If you look at it, Usher's performance was a year ago and just has 32 million. Kendrick did that in over 24 hours. That says something.
That does say a lot.
That says something. And when after watching it, I had to rewatch it a couple times, and I have to say that was one of the best performances, Super Bowl or what have you, I have ever seen. And this is all in light of Drake trying to shut this down. This is all in light of DJ Academics throwing out the set list, right?
Yeah, you gonna have to now. You want to break that down for me.
Okay,
Also, I have to interject here just for a brief moment. I deleted all my apps, like all the social apps, with the exception of Discord, about 2 weeks ago. So it's been 2 weeks strong of me only using Discord and then YouTube sometimes. So there's gonna be a lot of filling in the gaps from like the interwebs. So take that into consideration. I'm gonna ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, go ahead. But this was in light of DJ Academics getting the set list and leaking it that, hey, this is what the set list was, and this was a couple of days beforehand, right? And people said, "Oh, this sounds like it's going to be terrible because the songs that he did."
Was it the correct set list or was it wrong?
It was a correct set list.
Oh, okay.
But guess what? What does that matter? Hey, here's the set list of songs. Okay, but because Kendrick is such a creative, right? And this is not just Kendrick, but this is for those who are of his like-mindedness of saying, yeah, you can put that out there, but it's not going to take away from what this impact was. And the impact was there because this wasn't of a, hey, this is happy, just dance, shake your tail feather or whatever, right? This is Kendrick Lamar. And Kendrick Lamar took the biggest stage, global stage, that he has ever had and decided to do a message. He dissed Donald Trump. He did the victory lap on Drake. But he also told a story of, this is what America says you need to be, black man, black woman.
Yeah.
But and go against the grain of it. It was and this is the whole thing. 13. I don't think people really understood this, right? He got all that in 13 minutes and 25 seconds.
It felt a little short because I remember being like, that's it. But like the performance is only 15 minutes. Like it's only like 15 minutes. And I think I don't know if you realize, but they were setting up the stage with the like, how the sportscasters talk about it. So they were setting up stage. So it is a very quick, like up, down, whatever.
Yeah,
it seemed like it was shorter than 15, but
it was.
Yeah.
It was, and I think people still don't grasp this, right? And this is why I says it's different trains of thought. And especially with one person we know in our group chat.
We'll talk about that.
But it's just for that type of impact, right? And saying I'm doing all this in 13 minutes. First of all, just a regular Super Bowl halftime show to get all that done in 13 minutes is a feat. But I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm going to have everything connect so fluid. What's the best word? Seamlessly. Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So seamlessly together, that highlights everything I want you. That highlights everything I want you to hear and see and understand, and the meaning behind everything. And yes, I'm still going to give you the song that everybody's waiting to see if I'll perform it live. But I'm giving you little interludes in here too. It was boom, 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 and you know what? The whole thing that even brought it up to me that made even better. I watched it today as they show different reactions or whatever, right? T-Pain on his Nappy Boy Gaming channel.
I need to
He was
follow
what?
T-Pain on Twitch. He'd be so fun on Twitch. I just
Yeah.
be
So
asleep
this was
or
from his
something when he be
Twitch.
Twitch stream.
Yeah. So this was on his Twitch stream. He watched it live. He watched it live in the studio or whatever, and it was good energy because because when he was watching that, he was like this. Man, I hate Kendrick. Man, I hate Kendrick. He's like, I'm stealing that. And when that, but it was of fellow creative saying, "Yo, this thing is inspiring me in so many different
Right.
ways." And when he was like this, it was so simple. The beauty of it was that it wasn't. Yes, you have, the choreography and everything. The choreography was just on point. Yeah, you had the lights and everything, but it was so simple
Right.
because the it's the simplicity of it made it so beautiful as well because you focus so much on the message and what each thing was talking about. Was the American flag being being in the colors, but all black people, and then being divided as well as showing it was like it was chef kiss.
When that part came out, I just briefly, or there was I don't remember which section of it. Watching it live because I haven't rewatched it. I just watched it live. I looked over because I watched it with my husband and kids, and I looked over and I said, what do you think all the 50-year-old white men in the crowd and watching the TV are talking about right now? Like, what do you think that they're doing right now? Like, because I even because we'll talk about like some people saying it didn't slap like that or it was boring or whatever, which like I'll get to my feelings on that particular statement, but even if it is what it is, like you said, it was art, and I love that Kendrick took like the position to, instead of being like, because he could have done, even when he had his like damn section, like those are like the most popular songs that a lot of people, when you think of like a big stage, are familiar with. Instead of just being like, this is 15 minutes of like popular and then not like us 10 times or what, you know what I mean? Like he made a point to tell, like you said, tell a story and a message on a huge, like one of the largest stages. So, yeah, like I was just thinking, I was like, even when he came and then Samuel L. Jackson was dressed up like Uncle Sam, that first thing I was like, I wonder what the white folks in the audience and watching, like, what are they saying? They were probably like, oh, here we go. Like, I just wish I could have seen a white person's face.
You
I wish I could have seen a reaction.
so
I really do.
so that's why I said people are really, what I say is people with their reactions are really telling on themselves, right? In so many different ways, right? And why I said it crossed over so many. There's a video out there that's on Instagram with a white grandma dancing to Kendrick Lamar Peekaboo,
I do
right?
need to see that. I need to see that.
Yes,
Somebody drop the link.
I'll send it to you,
I'll watch it
right?
on my computer.
Right? You so is a old just think about this. An old white lady is like just doing her little dance or whatever, right? A Carnival cruise ship is showing the Super Bowl, and so and on that big screen, because I would I know because when the World Series was on, when I was on a cruise for my honeymoon, they had the game on and everything, right? But that thing was packed out, and everybody singing along, right? And people getting hyped off of it. And I've been saying this to a lot of people, whether it's online or in conversations, is what Jay-Z, it was a Jay-Z lyric. Do you listen to rap music or do you just skim through it?
That's a good question.
Right? So now I have to ask, do you just listen to music or do you just skim through it? Do you understand the art behind it? Right? Even if you don't like the artist or whatever, but you can say, well, sit back and be like, wow, that's making me think a bit, right? And the thing about it is, it could have been Bad Bunny, right? It could have been Bad Bunny that did a performance.
I was just about to say, my mom, and we'll talk about the conversation I had with my mom in this performance too. Was it supposed to be Lizzo and then something happened, or was that a rumor? Did my mom make that up or see that on Facebook?
She made that up. It was
Okay.
never
She
Lizzo was not.
was like, I don't remember hearing that, Ma. That might be
No,
one of them
she
Facebook rumors.
got SZA and Lizzo mixed up.
I don't see how. No, she know who SZA is. I don't know. She was like, yeah, it was supposed to be Lizzo, but then she got canceled, and then I had to tell her that people don't really get canceled unless you're a black woman or whatever. And it was
Yeah, it wasn't. It was
We're not
Lizzo. Lizzo was never.
I didn't think so. Was Bad Bunny in the running?
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I'm bringing it up that it could have been Bad Bunny performing, right?
Oh, right.
And if he did something similar, I would say I don't understand a word that man's saying, but that was dope as hell.
Right. I think the thing about it is, and one thing I like to appreciate about kind of the new, like, you know, I guess Jay-Z's influence in the NFL, blah, blah, is like the stage. Because before you get the stage, because you're super popular, which isn't necessarily bad. Like when you think about MJ performances, Prince performances, like it's popular. But again, those are performances. Like they're huge. And not only is it artistic, like you're mentioning, but the music is popular. So with this, I like hearing and seeing, like, again, artistry in a way. Like even I think back to Rihanna. And at the time when Rihanna performed, we were speculating whether or not she was pregnant or whatever. But she still gave us a really good performance, even though we know now that she was pregnant. And there might have been a different you. You.
I didn't want to interrupt.
You.
Yeah.
You. Get
We're
out.
famous for our run-ins.
Get out.
We're famous for our run-ins.
What was I saying? Oh, Rihanna. Like we remember, like, and she was pregnant, and there was probably some, you know, maybe she was practicing one thing and then it was like, ooh, pregnant, you know, whatever. But it was even still fun to watch, and she put all of her hits together, and the music was popular. It was popular music. She also gave a good performance there. But I like that hip hop actually got a chance to be artistic, because one thing I'll say, and this is me possibly being a little tone deaf, I forgot that one year that Dr. Dre, Eminem, and Snoop performed.
Mm-hmm.
To me, because again, like that's so out of my personal element. Like I remember paying attention to be like, yeah, this is cool. But like to me, it was just more. It was kind of like, you know, old head rap, remembering the days, like in that package. So it was nice to have that, and then also get a Kendrick where it's like, okay, I can actually be a part of it. And like not to say that I don't know Eminem songs or Snoop Dogg's or whatever, right? But like it was like a different. The performances were like they were important and monumental and different for hip hop in different ways. And yeah, I just wanted to point that out. With
no, it's a good point. It's a good point, and I like what because there's so many different think pieces, and I'm loving that. That tells you the impact, and which I will throw in this, right? 126 million people watched the Super Bowl, right? That was who watched the Super Bowl. An additional, like, get my math, 6, 7, I carry the 1. An additional 7 million people globally tuned in. That brings it up.
Crazy.
That brings it up to 133 million people watch the Super Bowl halftime show.
And let me tell you, there were a lot of people who I think like didn't watch the Super Bowl as much, because again, it was the same matchup as last year.
No, it wasn't last year.
Was that not last year?
No, 2 years ago.
I mean, even, you know what I mean? It was like a similar matchup. So some people were like, I'm not tuning. Like, for one, I wasn't going to watch a game anyway, so I'm not going to hold you. It's not like I was some person that was like, I was literally just watching for Kendrick. I turned the game on like when there was like 6 minutes left in the second quarter, and like let it play, and then whatever, and I turned it off. But it was like a tune in. Like, it was a big deal. I mean, let's even segment it this way. There was, of course, people who love Kendrick, who love hip hop, and were going to turn in for that piece. And there were also people who were like new to the beef and were going to tune in for that too. And there was like a new like section intermingling of people that wanted to see what was going on, or like even new Kendrick fans. Like, yeah, you either found Kendrick like last year because of the beef, or like maybe you're just getting on the wave with the newer projects. But like that was just so interesting to see people, like you said, or like you were talking. I need to see this video of the grandma, but I'll interject here and talk about like my mom. My mom is a sports fan. She's a really big Steelers fan. Um, I'm a third generation Steeler fan, so I'm a Steeler fan in my heart when I'm watching football, but I haven't been watching football lately because I don't have cable. But that's the team. But anywho, my mom still actually watches the Super Bowl pretty regularly. Even when the Steelers don't play, she's into football. She'll watch other teams play as well because she's married to a man, and then married to a man that keeps ESPN on loop. So, she was like, yeah, so I wanted to talk about the Kendrick performance. And I was like, yeah, okay. So, full disclosure, to know my mom is to know that, like, I think I get more of my musical taste from my dad. My mom is not, like, she likes hip hop, or I'm sorry, not hip hop, R&B, jazz. Like, she's, and, a mom. But she's not, like, deep into music. I remember my mom had, like, all these CDs when she was younger. But I don't want to say that my mom fell out of love with music, but like she stopped kind of being a part of like the digging and like being super interested in music, like when she had me and started like working really hard. It's an assumption. I'm making it. I would have to ask her if that's true. But she asked me about Kendrick. So she doesn't really know who Kendrick Lamar is. She knows that he's like a big rapper, a big name. And she knows that he had beef with Drake. But like she don't know Kendrick for any hip hop whatsoever. I'm sure that my mom only like the last popular, or she knows the rappers like popularly, but she doesn't hear the song. So the only time she'd hear a song is if it came on like Sirius XM on R&B. So she would only hear features. I'm sure that my mom doesn't know any like who Future is. She doesn't, like, she's heard these people, but she don't actually know who they are. So she asked, so the first thing she said to me, which made me laugh, was, oh wow, well everyone has their pants pulled up in the performance. I like that. And I was like, I was kind of like, well, Mom, I was like, well, people don't really normally sag anymore. Like that. Again, all of the rappers are kind of fashion niggas
How old
now.
is your mom?
My mom is, I don't know if she would like me to tell her exact age, but she is over 50. So, am
I going higher or going
higher? Over
am I going
50.
10 plus 10?
Yeah, around there.
Okay.
I don't want to get my ass kicked, so. But so she said that, and I was like, yeah. And then I couldn't really explain to her. I was like, well, yeah, again, sagging was different. And again, a lot of the rappers these days are like fashion niggas. So of course they're kind of wearing like trendy stuff. Like they're not, I couldn't even get into that conversation with her, but I was like, yeah. So then she said, does Kendrick hate mixed people? And I said, no, Kendrick hates Drake, who happens to be mixed. Like he doesn't hate mixed people. So then she was like, I was explaining, because she was like, not like us. Is he talking about mixed people? I was like, no, he's specifically talking about Drake. And I had to kind of like,
He's talking more about more than just Drake and Nate.
Well, no, but I mean, I watered it down for her, because then again, we were on the phone, and like then it would have become, a 15-minute conversation on hip hop culture and blah 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 blah. Which, like I said, I think my mom is one of those people that I think she respects hip hop as a genre, but then she'll be mad at me saying this, but she's also in the respectability politics ilk. So it's kind of like, well, that's, it used to be the revolutionary, but then it got weird. And then they started talking about like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just, I mean, she's a mom, and I'm sure my dad would actually say the same thing. And my dad is older than my mom. But when she asked, so again, sidestepping the dissertation, I was just like, yeah, he doesn't like Drake, not because he's mixed, because he doesn't like Drake. And then like we ended the conversation because I think I had to go to do something at work or whatever. So then the next time, or she sent me a screenshot, because again, she's on, she still got Facebook. And I've been asking the people in my life, because I've deleted the apps to show me things from the internet very sparingly, because what's the point of me deleting the apps if you're just going to send me things from the apps? So there was like this, somebody on Facebook who was like kind of breaking it down. So it was like, yeah, this was a reference here and the split flag and this and this and this and that and the other, which one, I told her, I was like, yeah, like that seems like a pretty good what am I trying to say? Like, that's a good assessment of the performance. Like, there was like a list of things that
Yeah,
the
I think I
person
know. It's a list that was going
that's
around
been
on Instagram.
circulating, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a list of things. So it's like that's a good assessment. And so she was, going down. So she was telling me or showing me that to be like, okay, well, here were like the points that came from the performance. And so then she had asked me about it. And then first I got mad because I was like, Mom, again, I did not ask for the internet, but you keep bringing the internet to me. Excuse me. But then you read some of the stuff and I was like, some of it is also it's like going into head ass territory. Like where it's just like, again, I am the superior wizard of like, oh no, like, some people always take everything too far and it's like over intellectual. Like there were a lot of things to point out in the performance, but some people always go left, which was fine, but most of it was a good assessment of the performance. But the questions that my mom asked made me laugh and it made me think about the generational divide because for me, like I said, I watched it with my husband and my kiddos. The kiddos are 11-year-old twin boys. And so they also, and we've been having this conversation like since the wedding and even before that, we've been having the conversation about music and the sauce being lost. But that's because the kid, like how all of us, like actually just every generation except them, we grew up listening to our parents' music in one way or another, right? So if it was, if it's playing on the radio in the house or, putting CDs on or putting vinyls on or whatever, listening to it in the car, they do get a decent, or I won't even say decent, some exposure to their parents' music, but it's not a lot. And so they didn't know who Kendrick Lamar was in the way that he looked. So they were like, oh, that's him. Like they'd never seen him before. Thankfully, because again, the kids, they don't have, like they have their tablets, but they're not allowed to surf the internet. So I was kind of glad they didn't know what he looked like because we would have to like show them a picture to know what Kendrick looked like. They know who he is and they know his voice, but had to put two and two together with him being on stage. And so even in this generation, so they were talking about like, oh, they were like, I want to be a content creator, or I want to make music, or I want to do this stuff, which great. Like if you want to do that, we will support you doing that. But now like when Kendrick was on stage, I was like, this is also like what wanting to be that looks like. Like it's not just I want to tippy tap on like a little producer. I don't know. I never know what those little things are called. The little producer thing.
MIDI keyboards,
The
beat
keyboards or the
machine.
beat machines. Like, I mean, it's that, but like, it's like, this is performance. I was like, and the first thing I said, there's no backing track. This nigga is rapping. This nigga, like, into the microphone. I think there were a couple backtracks for like the ad
No,
libs.
the backing there was back. So let's say there was backing tracks, right?
But it was only for the ad libs because he was out there spitting and it was quiet.
No, T-Pain actually put a thing. He said when you listen to it, right? But it's only to amplify because it's arena, right? He's like,
oh, I mean, but what I'm saying is like, know how some people let the
that's all.
song play.
But that's all. But that's the card. Yeah, that's cardio. That is a man.
Yeah, like he was up there like spitting. Like he was not up there again like he was rapping.
No,
like,
and even when he took the time to catch his breath or whatever, it works again so seamlessly.
Like he performance, artistry. Like and I mean I made the comment to say that is like when you think about it, like I mean, and don't get me wrong, Kendrick has fun. He's still like a rapper's rapper too, right? Like we're not he's very, he's very artsy fartsy, but he's also gonna have fun. But it's like this is like if you want to aspire to this, and I'm gonna come back to Doechii because again we do have to have just a brief discussion on congrats to Doechii and whatever. But like when you are looking up to people to aspire to, yes, a lot of the rap niggas and ladies and whatever, they have fun, but also aspire to do these things. Aspire to not only just want to be at the Super Bowl because yes, that's a huge aspiration, but aspire to want to perform at that level. Aspire to want to make music that people resonate with, not only to shake their ass to, but like to want to get something from as well. Like that it's so interesting to watch it intergenerationally, like you said too, because like you were saying that you were around like people that were older that were vibing. I wasn't around anybody other than my family, but just hearing people's different perspectives about it, I thought it was just nice to be able to really have that type of conversation about, like you said, a 13-minute hip hop Super Bowl.
And what I was thinking is it kind of also told was was, like I said, different group, because Drake is going to drop his collab album with Party Next Door on Friday, right? Cool, whatever. It's going to be for the ladies. Probably going to have people going to have whatever, right? But the impact is not going to have the impact because
I mean, not only that, I personally, as someone who I saw somebody like it when I was cruising along on the BINACT Instagram for a little bit, and I saw somebody post like how impactful and great Kendrick's performance was, excuse me, and then to turn back around and be like, oh well, Drake is posting or dropping that album with Party Next Door, and I love R&B Drake, and I was like, I mean, everybody has two wolves inside of them. I'm not saying that you can't like like you gotta pick a side, but like I don't even think like lately, even the bag that Drake has, like the flow and things, Drake has not captured me, and I've said a decade. Like whenever Views came out, I'm pretty sure that Views came out like 2016. That was the last time I've paid attention to like
we've
his
been saying
music.
that for a while. We've been saying that
For the whole run of this podcast, like he has not interested me. Nothing's been interesting.
The only time he's been interesting has been in this beef, and it was to his detriment. And why I said, and why I want to say the critique of him was straight up was, yeah, Drake, you're cool, you're the popular guy or whatever, you're an actor playing rapper, and yeah, you can be a chameleon on different things, but who are you really? Remember how many times I've asked you, right, that no matter what, you can, for a great artist or a top tier artist, lets you know who they are, where they stand, what their flaws are introspectively, right? But you can still say at the end of the day, this is who I am, right? From day one to now. Or even if they said, yo, I used to be this way, but this is how it's affecting me or whatnot, how I walk, how I talk, whatever. But you can literally say, this is who Jay-Z is. This is who Nas is. This is pick your litter, right? The ones that we consider to be in that upper echelon, right? We have this is not just me, but this is people who, Drake fans or whatever, but they say this, Drake, who are you? Damn, dude, you're almost pushing 40 and you still talking about the same.
Him and Future in the same camp for me, because I don't know how long you still gonna be rapping about
But
having
see,
62 baby mamas.
I'm gonna give Future. I'm
doing coke and the pills. Isn't that what Future be rapping about these days?
The only thing is I'm gonna give Future a slight deviation, just because that's his that's his world or whatever, right? But what we've been seeing more recently is he's pushing his own boundaries artistically a little bit. That I'm like, okay.
I have, just like when y'all had to tell me about Rick Ross, I have to take your word for it, because I'm not listening.
But I'm not saying. But I'm not
listening.
No, but I'm just saying. But we kind of know. But even whatever, you kind of know this is who Future is, right?
Sure. Like I said, I have to agree.
Right. But
I have no choice but to agree.
But in terms of Drake, when he started doing the big bad,
Pew 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 Shooter Drake has not, like, it was kind of cute on If You're Reading This, it's too late. But I remember, because like that was the first year that I think Spotify started doing rap, and that was actually my first year like in the workforce. So it was one of the albums that I listened to the most. I remember it came out on my Raptor, whatever. And like, to me, that was almost like costume. So it was like, haha, it was fun to listen to because we thought it was a joke. And then What a Time to Be Alive came out. That was that collab project with Future. And we were like, cool. And then like he just kept going. And then like
arrogant mob boss Drake was like, okay, like, bruh. That's why I said is at a time when you're like, this is you, or this is you playing around. And the whole thing is, it felt like you were playing around until we got Petty Drake. And Petty Drake.
Yeah, Petty. They said, like, petty misogynist Drake that was just being weird about girls. Like, first you made music for the girls, but now you're being mean to girls. Are you a mean girl? Like, what's happening?
What's going on? The thing about it is, that's you. That's you. At the end of the day, that is who you are down in your soul. That is you.
In your core.
In your core. That is you. Right? I don't know if it's because you got the Tennessee connection with your daddy and you got a whole lot of
I don't know,
unresolved.
but every time I hear about his daddy, he doing some weird nigga shit too. He a weird
Yeah.
nigga too. So like,
So again, I'm like this. That's you. That's you. And the whole thing about it was Kendrick has such self-awareness throughout this whole entire thing, right? And I want to get back to the art, right? But
oh
we were
yeah,
saying,
oh. After we get back to the art, and then I do that. Yes, OG, I did it right. I always phonetically mix up the letters. OG did. He pinned his review in, so I do have to read it. He
yeah, I
did
want to get
pin
back
it
to
in.
art,
So
but the
the
whole
art is
thing
great.
about it was a thing of authenticity, right? And this journey that we can actually see Kendrick going in from back in the day, Kendrick before
Right.
like I won't even I would say even before Section 80. I forgot what that project was, but um even back then, like this is who Kendrick is in his core,
And he's
right?
been that, and again, like you said, he's only again expanded and like grown in his artistry.
And he's taking accountability for his own faults and actions. That's why Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, that was his accountability album of saying, look,
You know that the 444 arc of rappers is cool. I'll give it.
right. And
Hey,
the whole thing about it was it was supposed to heal you. It was supposed to do all this stuff. The real ones really understood that, especially when you start peeling back the layers about his mama being about the story about his mom being abused and how that affected his, their relationship. Finding out about his uncle is now transgender and how he had to deal with that. It's like this is a whole bunch of stuff that he's like he admits his own addictions to and how that took it out, and he's like, I had to do work on me,
I
right?
will always say justice for taking your kids to school rap, as we've called it on the podcast, and also justice for men being vulnerable rap. Every time we talk about it, I bring up Pat Jr. and I'm gonna keep doing it. Pat Jr. out of Durham, North Carolina, makes the music, and I always just love to plug my indies when I can. But like justice for that, for black men. He also has this segment. I think it's I don't want to butcher it just because I'm going off the top of my head. Gold things, or like he has this segment where he is just like going off. So he has like a bunch of affirmation songs. Just shameless plug in there. The peoples are making the music. Okay. And again, our mainstream people are doing it, but the indies are doing it too. And actually Pat Jr. has a Grammy. He won a Grammy 2024 for a crazy. So see, I'm doing this off the dome, so I'll fact check this. But he has a Grammy, a production Grammy, and I want to say it's for a Lecrae song, but I could be wrong about what song. But he definitely won a Grammy, and he won it last year. Anyways, shout out to Pat Jr. I just have to plug. So
But the whole thing about it is like this is who he has been compared to the chameleon, compared to this, and why people were being rubbed by Drake wrong, because it was like this: you're appropriating our culture, you're not giving the light your shine. Best way to put it is this: Chris Brown, and I know what you're saying, but I just want to put this right. Chris Brown, don't you'll let me land on this. Let me land on this, right? Let me land on
okay,
right.
I'm listening. I'm gonna let you cook.
Chris Brown was really the first mainstream American artist to bring over the Afro beat sound. Right, right, right. So
Yeah, sounds about
yes,
right.
he opened that door, and he's been kept that door open. He's gone over to Africa, performed shows there or whatever, right? Drake, because of the whole Caribbean vibe or whatever, he goes over to the Caribbean to vacation and do whatever he wants to do. But
I see the connection. Like Chris Brown, like came and like borrowed from the culture but didn't steal it. Like he's like I learned and I took some things, but also Chris Brown, like he's been doing I think things with Rima, who is an Afrobeats artist.
He's been doing DeVito a lot of
Like I mean, but like you said, but like it's a different thing to be like, hey, let's collab. Drake will literally go somewhere and be like, I like this, thank you, thank you,
yeah, like you get
colonizing.
yeah,
Like, and that
and
was
that
and even like when when the homies, because when they talk about like the Atlanta stimulus package or whatever, or Houston stimulus package, or like when you go, like you'll bro it up, so it's like y'all like everything's good and we're bros and everything's fine, but like you don't even, like I said, you don't do it right. You're not like I guess you put people on in a sense. And I using Future as an example, as somebody who remembers the rise of Future. I mean, I did not need Drake to put me onto Future or Migos or anything like that, but that's because of my proximity to Atlanta. Like those were things that were being played in college for me all the time. So, um, like Drake did. I mean, I guess maybe they say drum, like how he took Cha Cha. Like Drake didn't really introduce me to anybody I mean, not in that way. At least not the Atlanta way, because I was pretty onto those artists, especially in college. But to do that, and then again, like now, like Rick Ross had turned on him, like in this beef, when Rick Ross was kind of like, yeah, you're weird now. Like Rick Ross isn't somebody, again, personally, that I enjoy, but Rick Ross ate off Drake features and turned around and like had something to say about Drake. But there's probably a reason for that. I don't know, but there's a
it's
reason for it.
that's this is it's what I like to say. It comes back to authenticity, and Kendrick is authentic, right? To who I like don't know Kendrick thing, but to who he has been, right? To who he has always been, right? Is the one thing that he's been championing is art, 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 right? It's art, art, art. And this is a guy who has shown that time and time again, right? He has gone through through the battle raps, right? And this is why I said is you can be a fan of something or you can be fully immersed. Like, and when I mean fully immersed, like you've gone through the fire. You've had your your blows in that circle, but you studied it so much that once you got that sword sharpened, everybody knew it was like that's that's that boy that boy ready. You know, that's that's what I want to say. And the whole thing about not like us, it's a bigger message. Yes, Drake, you are the face of what it is, but now it's coming to of who are you as a person, a cultural divide, right? Because black black people, Spanish people have taken that because we going in politics now. Is so many people want to go and deny who they are
I
to
mean,
be something that they're not,
I mean,
right? Because they want that whiteness. They want that white what being white in this country brings you, right? And this is I've seen it, and that's why I said is okay. You want to do that, fine, but when push comes to shove, we really know who you are, and a
right.
lot,
I definitely say that. I will
yeah.
say,
So that's why I
yeah,
said
like
that.
because I don't get to choose my blackness. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
I wake up every day and I show up and I in a space I'm black. I don't get to be like, oh,
oh,
I can
that,
pass.
no, no. The thing is, I'm a black man, right? One of my best friends is a Dominican. He's black, and so that's black and Spanish right there. You know, uh, if you got Hispanic, hey, this is who you are, right? I'm not dissing you, thing, but what I do have a problem with is you bashing. Yes, every race has their issues, right? But it's one thing to say, hey, how do we combat this in our own community to get better and to progress, than to do this. I'm not black. I'm not with y'all. What y'all talking about? Hey, I'm rocking with them, right? And this comes back to what I said is this: the white people who understood Kendrick's performance and understood what that message was are the ones that got this, that really thought this through, that took a step back and said, "Wow, he did that on that stage." and
That's
and
only a handful of them, and
no, but
that's
I'm
why
not
that's
saying,
being
but
gracious.
and Ken, I'm gonna have to cut the thing because this thing is a handful, right? Like you said,
I
it's
mean,
a
like
hand.
one hand,
But no,
like
but the whole thing is we can't poo-poo people that are willing to fight with us to get
no,
to get.
no, no, no,
No,
no,
no,
no.
right?
That's not what I'm saying.
But what one person said is this, right? And it was and I was also like, is this? And it was a white person who said this. Kendrick Lamar had took 13 minutes to lay out a message on that stage, and our politicians can't even get off their asses to fight fascism in this country. What does that tell you?
I mean,
You that's a is that man is a fighter. That man is willing to fight in his way, which is through his art. Everything is deliberate. Everything has a message to it. To what he's wearing, to how is the story's being told, to what is the choreography doing,
agreed.
right? And at the same time, I'm gonna give people shine, right? SZA, you guest starring, right? Because everyone knows who SZA. Everyone loves SZA, right? SZA, give you two spots right there, give you the shine so you can go off. And the SZA cameo or cameos, this cameo, uh, didn't take away from the message.
No, I mean it was wrapped in, especially because
It,
that was the pop part. That was like the ooh, this is the familiar song part. So like that
yeah,
was part of it,
which talked to the bigger message, right? Which
mind you, because it was all the stars that was off of Black Panther
mm-hmm.
soundtrack. So like it was popular, but this was also again from these different soundtracks and things
And
that he
Luther
had a hand in.
and Luther,
Oh, and I forgot about Luther.
right?
Right. I love that song.
So you got that. So you still highlighting a very artistic, beautiful black woman, but it's not taken away from the bigger message.
Nope.
And when you got literally Serena Williams crip walking, right?
Which is also petty. It's so good, but it's petty as hell because
But
that's Drake's
but
ex. But
but
like funny.
but when you think about it, it was actually brilliant
No, it was
because
part of the message because I think there was a video that said like she was like I couldn't even do that like
in
when
the
I was
Olympic and
playing or
when
whatever
the
because they would have fined my ass. So like I got to like again I'm from
Compton,
this area, like I'm from Compton. I can do this and they can't find me on this stage. They can find me somewhere else or
yeah,
tell me I'm too much somewhere else, but they can't find me here. So
and
yeah.
the whole thing about it was Kendrick and his team, but Kendrick personally called her, and because she put out the reasoning, like how thing, she's like, they personally called me. It wasn't through intermediaries or anything. They personally called me and said they had this idea, and when I heard about it, I said, wow, that touched me in a different way, right? Because I think people really gotta understand is for all the dogs did so much damage to Rihanna's fan base, to black women, because of how he was going, because how Drake
That was the 21 Savage project,
no, that was Drake's last solo project.
not the one with the baby, not the
No,
Lover Boy. That
no,
wasn't the last project.
no, that's
I've
for all
lost
the
it.
dogs.
Okay, anyways, continue. Sorry,
For all the dogs, the one that had
the Megan diss and all that shit on it. That's the
yeah,
same album.
yeah.
And is that also the one where he was talking? He's talking about Taylor Swift too, or something.
Talk about Rihanna. That's what reunited that beef there. talked
with
about
Rocky, right?
yeah, we
Okay.
talked about Serena, and the whole thing is everyone's like this, like, bro, what?
What? Right.
Like,
What?
like the whole thing about what was this is Serena. Nobody talking about Serena. Serena over here living her best life
I mean,
with
married, 2 beautiful children, minding
right,
her business.
mind her business. Yeah, y'all did whatever, but now you're saying, oh, Serena left me for a lame, and you going after things like, sorry, excuse me, and then you're doing the same thing about Rihanna because is oh, dude, now you're just a cornball,
And now you're just mad that nobody likes you. You're a mean girl. You're a
or,
very mean girl.
right? So now the whole thing about it is okay. Everybody heard that was like, wow, like, and the whole
Now,
thing about
mind you, just like there were a handful of white people that you said that understood, there are also a handful of niggas that were like, yeah, Drake. So we're not, we see
no,
you too. We do see
we
y'all.
see you too.
So,
We see you
like,
too.
just don't think that you got out of that unclocked because you didn't.
Mm-mm.
But continue.
But it was that did so much damage across the board, and when these rumors of your lifetime deal or big deal or whatever, you think you're too big to fail. That's arrogance.
And I do love that he really did feel that way. To be humbled on such a stage. Wait, hold on. Before we get here, because
Yeah,
we're
please
ready
go
to.
with it.
I gotta read what OG said. So first of all, I have to let y'all know that he also mentioned that sometimes he gotta pop out and show niggas because we are writers here. We started out as writers, so sometimes you do gotta pop out with a pen. And so this is what OG had to say about the performance. I'm reading it, so again, don't I'm reading. All right, so Kendrick's performance was like a concept album brought to life. The interplay between the music, interludes, and visual performance worked together to deliver a cohesive message that could, and honestly has been, interpreted differently based on your perspective and understanding of the story he was telling. There were no pyrotechnics, dancers rappelling from the ceiling, or medleys of chart topping hits that we've come to expect in a Super Bowl halftime performance. Based on his pre show interview with Apple Music, he intended to tell a story about the culture of hip hop and the people who embody it. And that's exactly what he did. His performance left no middle ground to stand on, and a lot of the feedback seems to clearly indicate that. Everyone seems to have a strong opinion on it, which is a characteristic of some of the best art. He created something that allowed all who witnessed it to point at it and say, they not like us, and be absolutely right. And again, when OG is right, he's right.
That's
And when he writes, he's right. So
that's what it is. That is what it is. And that's why and mechanics. I watch different types of movies or whatnot, documentaries or what have you, right? And I can respect somebody's art for what they're telling if the message is good, if the message is powerful enough, right? I may not like every little bit, but if that message clearly comes through to me and keeps me talking or wanting to learn about something, then you just did your job, right? I didn't. Was it Killers of the Flower Moon? Leonardo DiCaprio's last movie. It was nominated for an Oscar last year. Talked about how there were actually rich Indians in this country, but white people hated that so much that they would marry them and murder them for their money. It was a whole entire scheme. I never knew about that. But
I didn't
main
know about that either.
but again, that's what I said. It's the message. It's the history, right? Learning about stuff that you don't know that makes you smarter in the end. And everything about this is the phrase 40 acres and a mule had Google searches up like something crazy like 360% or whatever, because people didn't know what 40 acres and a mule. So that's I don't know age range or whatnot, but it just that phrase
Yeah,
40.
that shocked me. I was like, because I know what that means, but I
But
guess there
again,
probably are
young
people.
people, old people, whatever,
Yeah.
right? So it's that's why I said it's the people that really understood it are applauding it. And it's like, damn, that was great, right? Real creatives, right? No matter what you are, what creative that you are, you can't say that wasn't powerful.
Right. And and the people who aren't, or, some people are just doing the whole thing where it's like, I was lame. I mean, because it was a Kendrick performance, like, oh, it's a boring, it's snooze fest. I had to pull up my dictionary and it ain't slept like that, or, whatever it is. But again, a majority of, people within the culture that get it. But then even like you said, like the people who wanted to learn and wanted to know more about it and wanted to look past the, again, oh, this shit lame and snooze fest. Like you said, they got it. And the people that did, like, the girls that get it. And the girls that don't, they just don't. Like, and
And,
it's
and
what it is.
that's why I brought up the thing about T-Pain, right? Was just hearing that reaction from another creative. Like, I wouldn't consider T-Pain to be, you know, super wokey woke and all that type of stuff, right? But just seeing his reaction, his excitement, seeing that the messages, and he even was like this, man, he's like, man, this is so much powerful. He's like, I gotta rewatch this, or TikTok is going to somebody on TikTok going to break it down or whatever. But what
Mm-hmm.
he's like, this is powerful. This is simple.
Right.
This is inspiring to me. I I'll tell you the truth. I saw that performance and that lit something up in me because over the past couple of weeks, I was feeling just with all the bullshit in this country, right? Was bringing me down.
Yeah.
Was bringing
It's
me down.
enough to bring you down. Trust.
It's enough. But Kendrick Lamar lit a fire under me. Was like, nah, this is they want us to do this. Okay, this is how America is, but this is who I am, and this is who you are. Black man, black woman, whatever race. This is who you are, right? And this is how they want you to be. Now we ain't doing that, right? They not us. They not like us. And and again, this is a man who got money, who got who this. Someone said it too, and I think Sean, and I'm giving credit to Sean C. Kendrick is what Kanye West thinks he is.
You know what? Now, see,
Think about it. If you really think about it,
I don't want to think about it because that man is the other one is so irksome. I get the correlation. Like, I get it. And I actually don't think I disagree, but it's just.
think about it. If you look at it, right? If you look at it,
Kanye definitely thought, like, he came into the game with this I want to change it mentality, but I think the difference, because I want to say Kendrick is also a Gemini, the difference between the two Geminis and not doing the whole astrology thing, but like Kanye's ego, like Kanye got ate up by his own ego. Like, he exists in his own, like, his ego, like, it's huge. And not to say, because everybody has ego, even, normal people got egos, but Kendrick, to me, and I would assume to, others, is truly more concerned about the art and what it does than what he's doing.
his self-awareness. That's why I bring it back to Mr. Morale. What now was saying that yes, my ego. I have an ego. But he's talked about it, right? But he said this ego was willing to eat me alive, and I didn't like what that was doing to me. That I didn't like what that was doing to my family.
That's what having a therapist will do for you, Kanye West.
Right? And
that's what having not yes men in your corner will do for you, Kanye West. But
so,
I don't know these people. I don't know.
So even when people like this, when people are like, oh, he's leaving TDE or whatever, right? And they're like this, oh, it must have been bad blood or whatever. On GNX, Kendrick said, no, it's still all love. Let me just tell you what it was. He was like, it was me. It was me. And I'd rather have this family connection and be able to do new things.
Period.
And just put it on my back and not derail any of y'all's shine.
Period.
Right? So he's like this, let me move out the way a little bit, but let me do my own thing. But it's always still all love. And he's like this, I still remember two instances, and when he said it, it made J Rock and Ab Soul, comment on it. It was like this: we used to sleep on in the studio floor just to write and record for the love of this music, of this art, of this culture. My biggest thing was, he said before I even think, he said I was so happy to see J Rock getting those record meetings or whatnot, right? He's like, I didn't have it wasn't me, but that was my man, that was my boy. I was happy to see him get that, because at the time he was the hype man. Kendrick was the hype man for J Rock, and where we're at right now. But when you think about that, it was
Still love me some J Rock. We need more of. I've always wanted to talk about that album that J Rock dropped, and I don't think I ever did fully. Did we ever talk about it?
We did. It was in passing.
Yeah, I gotta go back and listen. But
it's the humbleness of, yo, I know this can all be taken away from me. I know all this, but because I have so much love for this, I want everybody to shine, right? He's like, there's so much creativity. Look, he could have, if his ego wanted to, he could have squashed Doechii, right? But instead of that, he was like this. He said, Doechii is one of the top lyricists out there right now, and she dope as fuck.
Segue, my nigga.
Right? So he recognized that, which we're gonna talk about it. I don't know what is in that TDE water or what is in that camp, but when people have that moment of taking that stage, of saying that you need to take this and take it to another level, they do it. Look at you.
I keep sneezing, but
look.
But yes, like when it's just that one. It's like that one spark. And thank you again for the segue, because congratulations to Doechii. I put it in the last show notes. But shout out to her for winning the Grammy. Very, very happy for her. She also, did her victory lap with Nosebleeds. So she dropped the song after she won the Grammy. It's called Nosebleeds. It's so good. It has the same criticism. It is so short, but like it's really good. It's just short, and I want more song. But I am just so happy for her. It was just it's just so happy for him, obviously, because we recorded right before the Grammys, and now the Grammys have passed. Putting it all together in talking about artistry and things like that, and tying it into Doechii or whoever, like you said, the performance, I really did want to, like, when I recommended Doechii as the album, this was pre-Grammys. Rap felt like, all in all, rap felt fun, and like looking at like one of the biggest rappers on the largest stage made it feel like it's fun. And it's not necessarily all fun, like, again, ass shaking music, but it was inspirational, and it was like, rap can be this. Like, yeah. Side note, I listened back to a couple of different episodes and things. My like counter, I would like it to come down, so I'm just trying to be knowledgeable of how many times I said that word. But rap can be revolutionary. It can be all the things. And I think, like you said, and I didn't realize that it kind of done the same thing for me until you mentioned it. But like, it can be like, Kendrick truly is the whole package. It's the revolutionary, it's the part to push the envelope. It's the part that hip hop was built on, like talking about the culture without commodifying the culture. Shout out to the video essayists that have been watching, talking about hip hop in that way. But like, it's not, bastardizing it or like using it to your advantage. It truly is just speaking about what you're going through. And then it is like the Baby Keem, Range Brothers, haha, fun moment. Like, it's all of that. Like, you get all of it. And that it's fun. And like, similarly, when we were talking about Doechii, it's like, that's fun. It's fun to hear hip hop in that way. Because yeah, sometimes we don't always want to be ass shaking, and sometimes we don't always want to be wokey woke head ass. Sometimes you want to be somewhere in the middle, or all of it at once. And it's so like, you can have a balance. You can truly have it all. And the artists that are willing to do that at that level will give it to you. And so, as I always say with BINACT, like the music is there, it's always there. Even like happy for Doechii, of course, happy for both Doechii, Kendrick, all that stuff. But there are other people making the artists, and I always make that plug because it's like in this day and age, somebody is making it. We just gotta find it. Yes.
Right.
Like no, I was like using it because I was like, that feels good. I might use that for something. But like, true, it's there. And in this day and age, we were going to talk about something else, but you know, I'm actually going to save that for the next time we record, which is fine. But in this day and age, there's so much music. Like, there's so much to listen to. Again, not all of it is, you know.
What I would say
Yeah.
is this is I was talking to her cousin, and he's older, and
Who cousin?
he said this to me.
Who cousin?
My lady's cousin.
Oh, okay.
All right, and he listens to stuff or whatever, and he's just like, I understand what it is, but he's like, listen to people like Kendrick and J. Cole or whatnot talk about something. It means something to me. It means
Right.
something to me, right? And again, you can have. We always put this, and this is where I want to go back to like the naysayers about the performance. Nobody is telling you that you can't have a fun fireworks going all over, spending yada yada money on it. Nobody's telling you that. But if that's what you are going to what your performance is just going to be, that's you, right? But if you are saying, I'm taking this performance seriously, I'm taking this art seriously, I'm taking this moment, whether it was Doechii basically saying she took 2 moments at the Grammys, her acceptance, because she won 2 or 3 Grammys. Good, keep me honest.
I don't
Keep,
want to lie.
keep me. That's what I said.
But
Keep me
I'm a
on.
typey. I'm a typey. Hold on.
Right. But for her, when she gave that that speech about saying that how bad she wanted it, and how she talked to God and took upon herself, she won 3 Grammys, but she was like, I never thought this would happen to me, but I talked to God about, she basically said I had to do a full detox for my mind, my body, and my spirit because I wanted this. And guess what? You see it that when she took that moment for her performance, people who didn't know who Doechii was now knew who Doechii is.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like this, damn. And when you go down that family tree of TDE and PG Lang, is you can't say you don't know who each one of those artists are when they have that moment to shine, or whatever lane that they're in. And what's beautiful about that is those lanes connect so well in different ways, right? Is Absol is the lyrical miracle guy that's going to give you deep metaphors and whatnot that's going to make you think. Schoolboy Q now is still, you're going to get that fun music or whatnot, but he's going to talk about his stuff too, right?
Schoolboy was one of the original like sad boy rappers. Like it was Druggy Sad Boy. He was one of the originators. Like he was definitely that guy.
But now you hear him, he's like, yes, yo, man, all that stuff, man, I just want to go play golf,
And I love that. I love that being able again to get to a point in your artistry where you can not even transcend, because I'm not being like, oh, depression doesn't exist when you have money. Like that's like
No.
reductive and not true. But like it's just good that you can get to that point of being like, I made it to a place where my art or me working or whatever like takes me to a place, and now I can just go play golf or just do whatever and like exist
And,
without
and,
being
and
dragged down.
I think he even said, he's like, yo, some of the music I had to step away because some of the stuff that I was recording, I wasn't all the way into it,
Right.
and he was just like, man, I just got to reset, and the stuff that was going, stuff that I used to do back during the day. Now with that what happened, he's like, man, I'm trying to be home chilling with my daughter.
Period.
Period. Right? Like what is this?
Make the take your kids to school rap. Like again,
Like
us is that's what we want.
it crosses so many boundaries and whatnot. But I think, and this is what I think people are come to, that we're critiquing, and it's called it boring or whatever. It didn't live up to the moment. Was they're thinking from a marketing perspective, right?
Yeah, but that's how a lot of people think of you
That's
know.
how a lot of people. As somebody said, that was like marketing is his thing, and he's like, I always look at everything from a marketing lens, and he's like, I grade that performance a 6 out of 10. And I was like, 6 out of 10, and he's like, and he said, well, at the Super Bowl halftime shows, biggest stage, and that's when you should really be popping to get yourself a more mainstream audience. I don't think that gave him a more mainstream
Does
and
he
I was
need
like,
any more audience though? Like, I think he's reached the audience that he wants to
how
reach to this point.
that's what I'm about to
Like
say.
the Super Bowl is the cherry on top of his legacy, not like the.
The But it's supposed to be like this. So you want to go to that? I had to say, Kendrick said it best. This is bigger than the music. This is bigger than the music. And his music, yes, he was going at the top guy, but he didn't have to do any social media games. He didn't have to do anything. He was grinding in them records. I ain't gonna lie about that, but it was war. But he gave fair warning. But he didn't do the stuff that the commercial, what you're supposed to do on a commercial mainstream, right? How did that? He just kept it to the audience for his culture.
And to like you said, like it wasn't, or like OG said, like this wasn't again. Ooh, again. Like, I mean, he did have dancers. Like he still did kind of like, he kept it like, what am I trying to say? He made it mainstream by having dancers, right? Like, okay, there's a set and we put some dancers on. So I can't just go on here and stand on the stage and rap with nothing. I gotta
No,
have a set, gotta have some dancers, gotta have some
no,
theatrics.
and that's
He did that. And then he still did what Kendrick wanted to do, and that's why, like I said, that it was the cherry on top. Kendrick didn't need this performance, just like again, like a Prince or a Michael. They don't need this performance to be like, let me find some more white people to, or like to get some more audience. Like, no, this was me showing you what the fuck I've been doing on stages for a long time. It's not news. This is like, ooh, cool, another accolade for me. Thumbs
no,
up.
this the whole thing about it, and what I love about it is this. This was his victory. This was his victory lap. This was his crowning. I'm not saying his crowning achievement, right? But this was his flag down of like, this is who I am. You want People told me I couldn't rap. They could, mainstream rap. Look at what I did. I can give you the hits. I can give you the rapidy rap, right? But by the end of the day, this is who Kendrick Lamar is. I put my flag down. I am a poet. I am an artist. This is who I am. This is unapologetically me. And this is my message. Boom. And guess what? That was a great, and the thing, marketing. That was a great intro to what you can expect on the summer tour. And the beautiful thing about it is, once that tour is over, you're not going to hear from Kendrick. You may hear him on features or whatnot, if he wants to do it, right? But that man comes out, says his message, then goes away for the next 3 to 4 years, and when he pops back out for his album or whatnot, he's going to say a message that he feels like everybody needs to feel. Right? This man won a Pulitzer Prize. No, not Pulitzer. Nobel Peace Prize. Yes, he did.
Whichever one, child.
Yeah, he won Nobel Peace Prize, right, for his album. Like, I think the whole thing is people are still beholden to what old rules are, and new rules need to be established. Like, and I didn't even think to me at this point, right? You two did a performance.
I mean,
They did no, follow me, let me land. You two
I know. I was gonna say, I'm sure they did. I don't remember it,
you
but
two did a Super Bowl performance. It wasn't for us, but it was in tribute to 9/11, right?
okay. I
Right?
have to agree with you because I don't remember.
But it was
This is
tribute.
another place where I have no choice but to agree.
But nobody said people was hyping that up, and it wasn't like all big, really whatnot. But it was a very powerful, big, powerful thing of that using that stage to tell a message, right? So you two, a white rock band who the lead singer is all into charitable, worthwhile causes, and he puts his money where his mouth is, and yada yada yada. Nobody says anything about them. Kendrick Lamar over here says his message, makes an impact, and people call his performance boring. Call it said, oh, he flopped. Oh, he needed to do more. He needed to do whatever. I I challenge you guys to do 13 minutes and tell a great story and leave that type of impact. That 32 million people in 24 hours counting is still watching, rewatching. An additional 7 million people came in because people wanted to see if what he was going to do, if he was going to perform the song. But again, shows you what type of person he was, because I'm sure he had legal counsel, but he was like, yo, I'm not going to hide from it. I'm
It
not
was
going to
silly
hide.
dip.
I'm not going to hide from it. So you know what? You not like us. Okay, come on. We're gonna put this in. We're gonna put this in, and I'm gonna play it around in different ways. And I said it was so simple because kept teasing it, and and then when it came out, and then transitioned it to TV off, and gave Mustard his shine.
That was so nice. I did like, and then Mustard had his little jacket on.
Yeah, it was
That was nice. I did
like
like that.
that was again. That was like, yo, everybody know who this guy is. You know who SZA is. You know who I am. Like me or love me. Take it for what it is. Game over. Boom. Right.
What else is there to say? Like
What else?
what else is there to discuss?
Right. And I know that he's been working on a movie. He's been like working and writing on a movie with the creators of South Park or whatever. Right. And
I
I
don't know. This is where I'm gonna have to disagree. I do not like when the rappers go TV.
no, I don't
It
think. But
don't.
the thing about it
Personal
is
opinion, but don't.
but 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 again, he's an artist, so I gotta let the man. If he feels he wants to
No,
go.
I say that usually it doesn't go well. I'll say that.
I,
Hopefully it goes well for him, but usually it don't go that
but
way well.
I think
Just like when the sports ball people try to rap, like it don't always.
it doesn't. But I think I think it also depends on who you're working with and what the message is.
I guess that's true.
Right. So again, is people when you hear that you're like, oh my goodness, he's South Park where they make fun of people and all that. No, South Park actually has a message in a lot of their episodes. You're just too dumb or blind to see it. Yeah, and the whole thing about it is anybody can get it. That's the beauty of it. Anybody can get it. And why Kanye West sue them? Because he didn't like what they were saying about him, but it turned out to be the truth.
Look,
So, but in closing, That was a great performance.
Loved it.
Nobody can tell me different.
Yeah, and I'm
Not
not about to argue with you about it either.
not DJ Academics,
Don't even keep going.
not Maul,
Don't even care. Keep
right?
going.
Not none of them
Those are paid actors.
right?
Those are paid actors by Drake.
Not
So
none of them who said, oh, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. It
it didn't
didn't
slap
have.
like that.
I just
It was
want to
boring.
I
I
just
wanted to
want
go
to
to
hear
sleep.
I just want to hear the hits. Play me 13 minutes worth of hits and I'll be great. No, nah, bruh. Art is what you do, and there's different levels to this stuff. There's people that you can go up there and you're like this. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. The elementary. Well, I like to say, oh, that's nice. The elementary school. Drawing pictures or whatever. Then you got the ones like, oh, that's nice, but oh, you got a little talent there. Okay. Then you got the ones that's like, oh, who did this? You did this? And now it's that next level of, wow, you did that using that. I wouldn't even thought about that. And again, T-Pain even said it. He's like, somebody asked him if he could do a Super Bowl performance, and he said no, because I wouldn't know what to think with that amount of time and just all that extra stuff that I have to do. I wouldn't know. It would frustrate me. But now seeing Kendrick make that type of impression inspired me, and now I'm looking at it is, if that came around, could I do a Super Bowl performance? Maybe I could, because now I can use it simply. It's how you use different things to get your stuff across, right? And again, this is a man. Kendrick, look, Kendrick Lamar is an all-time great. Is an all-time great. If that man said tomorrow after this tour, I am hanging up my mic. I have nothing else,
He could, and that would be fine.
and that would be fine,
That would
right?
be fine. Because
But
what else do you have to say to that man?
but you cannot throw dirt. You cannot throw dirt on that man's name. Okay, that's why the Canadian over there in Australia doing his little tour, wearing holy sweatshirt saying, with smoke coming out, saying, "Oh, I'm all for the smoke," or whatever.
We are wrapping this up, because who cares
But
about
his
what that
own
man is
boys are
doing?
watching the halftime show.
Boo. I hope that he is okay and having a great tour. The end on that one, because I hope whatever his album is going to do is going to do it. I'm glad that he remembered that he has artists.
Chauncey said it best. You can't take that man. You can't take that man seriously as a rapper anymore. If he goes into his R&B bag, it's his R&B bag.
Then again, that's actually what we asked for.
That's it.
We asked for singy. I mean, even singy rappy, but that's what we asked for. We did not ask for pew pew.
Drake with the melody.
We did not ask for none of this other stuff. So at least I did not. I didn't ask for it.
So now, if he tries to come back out and tries to rapidy rap and go after and try to be hard, guess what? You took the biggest L that you can take, because all someone gotta say is, "You tough talking now." What happened when Kendrick came at you? Kendrick beat your ass, right? You messed with the wrong one. You underestimated your opponent because of your ego.
He'll be fine again. I think somebody made a point that people who have lost rap battles, it's not like they die. They make music, whatever. He'll be fine.
And that was the whole. The whole thing was, it wouldn't even been that. It wouldn't even been that bad if he would have just said, "You know what? Hey, I'm bow out for a minute. I'm cool, right?" Instead of doing this pettiness, the internet games, that's what got him into so much stuff.
Yawn. Honestly, yeah.
But
I don't feel sorry for him. He brought it on himself. I just hope that you know, hope he finishes his tour and whatever.
and now
Whatever. I'm not anticipating anything else from him.
what is he putting in this group chat? Hold on.
Child, leave that group chat where it's at.
Bro.
And we are trying our best to maybe keep it around an hour and 15, and we're still not doing so hot. Don't even read it. It sounds stupid.
No, it's about Mo. It's just
Yeah,
about
no, again, I definitely don't care about those that idiot, the other idiot. I could care less. It's fine. But yes, there was something else in the docket today, but obviously we had to talk about the Super Bowl, so we'll talk about the other thing next time. We'll also bring new noise back next time because I had some new noise that I wanted to talk about. But I want to make like a good list, and we'll also do it when all the co-hosts are back.
I
So,
did have one question for you.
Wait, yes.
Uh,
Is it about Kendrick?
no.
Okay.
It's about your boy, Abel.
Oh no. Okay. Actually, yeah, we gotta talk about this later too.
No, not about that. It's just quick question about: is this a short film or is this a full length film?
I don't know what you're talking about. I got the email. I didn't read it, so I can't even answer the question yet. We still actually have to table it because I don't know the answer to that question. No idea. But there was something in like the email that like the camp sends out, and I skimmed it, so I don't know.
Because the trailer dropped, and for thing it's
And again, you know me and Abel and his television, his antics. I haven't been really too into it, but I will get some information and follow up. I will do that, but I have no idea. I really can't. Well, I can believe that we talked about the performance so long. I'm just shocked. Not mad, but it's just it always blows my mind. When we get into our bag, but we'll be back in 2 weeks. No housekeeping. Actually, there is one housekeeping thing. We did not upload the last video to YouTube because of some stuff, but this video will be uploaded to YouTube. But the last one didn't get uploaded, so don't look for that one. But you'll have the remaining episodes on YouTube unless some issues happen. So that's the housekeeping note. Don't forget to actually follow us. I got to start doing the call to action. Follow us on Apple Podcasts because a majority of the listeners listen on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. If you want to just listen on your web browser, you can. The website will be updated soon with some new podcast stuff. When I say soon, I mean sometime before April. Fingers crossed. So yeah, make sure to follow there, review the podcast, review it on Apple Podcasts, review it on Spotify. And yeah, share it. So I'm not on social media, so BINACT isn't hugely on social media. So the best way to share it is through word of mouth. So taking it old school, sharing the links, telling people to listen, that type of thing. So yeah, if you're rocking with us, please continue to do so. And that is the best way to support the podcast. So yeah. This has been the BINACT podcast, where we talk music, the people that make it, and the communities that listen to it. Look for us in 2 weeks. Bye.